Okay, I have to interview an OT student today. I have 5 questions that I'm going to ask them. I hope they're ready, because I am most certainly ready. Let's go.
The first frequently asked question as far as when you are trying to get in OT school, or even if you're trying to get a job, they usually ask you like, why do you want to be an OT? Which I think is an important question, and it's something that you should probably think about if you haven't thought about that already. Why do you want this so bad? Like, why do you want to be an OT? There's so many different careers out there. Why did you choose OT? If you don't have an answer yet, make sure that you think about this particular question, because it's probably somehow gonna come up. So just make sure that you know the reason why you want to do this, okay? Number 2 interview question that I have heard a lot is like scenario type of questions. Like if you are in a difficult, like what type of, not what type of, but have you ever been in a difficult situation and how did you get out of it, or how did you handle the situation and stuff like that. I think this question, the reason why they love to ask this question, I think, is to just see how you handle difficult people in difficult situations and how you problem solve. So this is another thing that basically shows like your personality and your character and the way in which you carry yourself and the way in which you handle different people in different situations. So make sure that you guys think about a difficult situation that you have been in and how you were able to come out of it, okay? Another question that they also love to ask is, tell me about yourself. I know you guys have heard this somewhere, somehow before. Tell me about yourself. I don't like this question at all, because I feel like whenever someone asks me, like, tell me about yourself, I'm like, what do you want to know? Like, there's so many different parts of me, or not parts of me, but there's so many different aspects of who I am. And so when someone just asks me that, I'm like, where do you want me to start? Do you want to sit down? Let's have a coffee. Like, let's talk about this. Because it can take a while depending on exactly what you want to know, and also depend on exactly what I want to expose. But of course, you don't want to expose all the like negative things. You don't want to expose like how you went to Vegas and got drunk. You know what I mean? Like, you want to expose and talk about things that are positive, things that shows your character. We all have good and bad ways about ourselves, but don't sit there and talk about all the bad things that you have done. Talk about the positive things. Talk about things that makes you look good. I mean, that kind of sounds bad, I feel like, but I mean, it doesn't really sound bad. You want to put your best foot forward, so don't sit there and talk about, you can definitely talk about something that makes you unique, something that makes you stand out from the crowd. Like, so something that you could probably say is that, you know, the different things that you have, like talk about your volunteering experience. That's something that I love to talk about, like the different experience, the different volunteering that I've done in the past. That shows a lot of character, that shows that you are involved and you care. Talk about, you know, maybe a trip that you took somewhere and how that trip kind of opened your eyes to underprivileged countries, or anything that you have done that is very, very unique, that's gonna show a lot of character and gonna kind of impress your interviewer about who you are as a person. Because remember, sometimes when you meet someone for the first time, they don't have a lot of time to get to know you. So these questions are basically created and formulated to kind of get to know you and your person, your character, and who you are in about like less than an hour. So it's a lot, and there's a lot at risk, and there's a lot at stake. So make sure that you answer the questions as honest, but also as positive as you can possibly answer it. And you also want the questions to bring the best part of you, you know? Next question too that I feel like they love to ask is, tell me about your strengths and your weaknesses, okay? And I feel like this question is kind of tricky because You don't want to sit there and list a whole bunch of weaknesses like I can't do this, I'm this, and be negative, okay? Try and stay within the strengths as much as possible. And when you do talk about a weakness, make sure that you always turn it into a strength. One example of like the strength and weaknesses thing and how you can turn the weakness into a strength is that, let's say for example, you have a weakness with time management. So you can say, okay, I have a weakness with time management. Sometimes it's really hard for me to manage my time, but this is what I do to compensate for that weakness. I have a calendar. I have an alarm clock that I set. I write everything down, I highlight things, and that kind of helps me so that I don't forget things. Basically show your interviewer like, okay, you have some weaknesses that you do recognize, but also you have some things that you're working towards that weakness, which also show that you do care and you are willing to change and adapt as a person, which is a very, very, very important streak, I guess. Another question that they also love to ask is, what are your future plans? Like, where do you see yourself in the next 5 years, 10 years, and all that stuff. So make sure that if you don't know what your plans are, that you kind of come up with something, okay? So that when you do ask you that question, that you have something to say. I think that this question is also important because they want to see that you are someone who is who have goals for your life and you take those goals seriously. So make sure that you think about those things. If you don't have, I think everybody should have a plan, like a 5-year plan and a 10-year plan. I think those things are important. It keeps you focused. And so, yeah, if you don't have any kind of goals or plans in the next 5 or 10 years and you don't see where you see yourself, then maybe you should start thinking about those type of things, because it will probably most likely ask you a question like that. Okay, all right, now my final and last most frequently interview asked question is, why this school or why this job? Okay, why do you want to work here? Why do you want to go to school here? That's another question that I've heard a lot of. So make sure that you guys think about, there's a lot of schools in the United States. Why do you want to go to this particular school? Okay, if you haven't thought about it already and you don't know why it is that you're going, then maybe this is a time for you to really think about it. You don't it doesn't have to be something elaborate. Like, you don't have to lie about it. Like, okay, it's the best school in the world, because obviously the interviewer is going to see that you're lying about it. Have something that actually does make sense. Like for me, I chose the school that I went to because it was a small school, and I've always wanted to go to small schools. I went to a small school my undergrad, and I went to a small school for my graduate, because I feel like small schools just allow you to focus, and the teacher-student ratio is also small compared to going to a huge school where there is 100 students to 1 teacher. So that's something that you can tell the interviewer when they ask you, like, why do you want to go to this school? And also the school that I went to had a really good reputation as far as like the professors and, you know, the actual OT program. So that's another thing that I looked at. And yeah, so just think about all these questions, jot them down, and practice, and make sure that you're practicing these questions versus the answers and stuff like that, so that you are going to be ready. I promise you, if you have, I know they can probably ask a million questions, but I think these questions are definitely something that I've heard over and over and over again. So if you have really good articulate answers to these questions, I think you will be just fine. Okay, that's the end of my video. As always, thank you guys so much for watching my channel, and make sure that you like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye.